Hi there, this is the Pitvaq, the honeysucker that can go anywhere. Formerly known as the Evac, the Pitvaq is designed for pit emptying teams that want to increase their productivity and need flexibility to navigate through tough terrain. Before we get started, let's talk about safety. Emptying pit latrines can be a messy job, but it doesn't have to be unsafe. Before using the Pitvaq to pump fecal sludge, make sure you have the following: PPE, including a uniform, gloves, boots, and a mask, a ground sheet to place under the Pitvaq to catch any spills, and bleach to disinfect anything that comes into contact with sludge. In this video, we'll answer your questions. How do I set up the Pitvaq? How do I operate the Pitvaq correctly? How do I maintain the Pitvaq? So without further ado, let's dive in. How do I set up the Pitvaq? The Pitvaq consists of three main components: the pump chassis, the vacuum tank, and the hoses. The pump chassis houses the electric motor or petrol engine, the vacuum pump, and the moisture trap. The vacuum tank consists of the vacuum tank, including the sludge discharge valve, and the tank lid, including the ball float valve. To use the Pitvaq, you'll need two hoses, the air hose and the larger sludge hose. Now that we have everything we need, let's go to site and put it all together. Firstly, place the vacuum tank on your ground sheet, close enough to the pit so that your sludge hose will reach. Adjust the legs to the height that works for your drum and the ground surface. Place a drum underneath the vacuum tank. Put the lid on the vacuum tank. Check that the pump is producing a good enough vacuum before you hook up the air hose. How do you know the vacuum is working? Check the vacuum gauge. It should read between 70 and 80 kilopascals when the inlet is closed. Connect one end of the air hose to the tank lid and connect the other end to the moisture trap. Now, connect the sludge hose to the vacuum tank. You can add extra length to the hose if needed. Attach the trash screen to the end of the sludge hose. Now you're ready to do the job. Part 2. How do I operate the Pitvaq? Now that everything is connected, let's look at how the Pitvaq works. Operating the Pitvaq will require a team of 3 or 4 people. 1 to operate the vacuum tank valves, 1 to operate the sludge hose, and 1 or 2 to remove and replace the sludge drums as they fill up. With the sludge hose in the pit, let's fire up the engine. The engine powers the vacuum pump. The pump will create a suction in the air hose and form a vacuum in the tank. In order to create a vacuum in the tank, close the ball valve at the top of the vacuum tank. Also, make sure the sludge is flowing into the tank. If sludge is not flowing, add a small amount of water and mix with a long-handled spade until it is pumpable. The tank is full when the sludge reaches the level of the ball float valve in the tank. Break the vacuum by opening the ball valve. Then, open the tank discharge valve to empty the sludge into the drum. Replace the full drum with an empty one. The sludge can be emptied into a pit on site and buried, or taken to a treatment facility off-site. Then repeat. Part 3. How do I maintain the Pitvaq? Just like any piece of equipment, the Pitvaq needs to be serviced and maintained to keep working properly. After every use of the Pitvaq, clean everything well. To clean, set up the system and suck a drum of water through the hose into the tank. This will rinse the tank and the sludge hose. Open the valve at the bottom of the moisture trap to discharge any liquid that might have accumulated in the trap while you're working. Make sure that the oil reservoir is always topped up when using the Pitvaq. Keep an eye on your vacuum level when using the Pitvaq. If the vacuum is low, first check that the end of the sludge hose is properly submerged in the sludge. If that is not the problem, then check that the discharge valve is clean and well seated. If that is fine, then you need to check the rubber seals at the top and bottom of the tank. They can be damaged, but they are not expensive and it is quick and easy to replace them. Check out the Pitvaq user manual for more details and feel free to contact us with more questions. With a little patience, your team will be able to empty pit latrines anywhere, from dense urban cities to the rural countryside. The Pitvaq, opening the door to a faster, cleaner, safer way to empty pit latrines and septic tanks.